Welcome to the Reflective Mind. This is your host Monica. Friends, we have been discussing the law of one. Today we will be discussing fifth density. As you know that I have told you before, that fifth density is the density of light or wisdom. So let's dive into it. Question number 1. At what point in the densities is it necessary for an entity to be consciously aware of the law of one to progress? I am raw. The fifth density harvest is of those whose vibratory distortion consciously accept the honor/duty of the law of one. The responsibility/honor is the foundation of this vibration. It's a self-explanatory question. Well, I will first ask the answer at the end if there's anything we can do to make the instrument really comfortable. If I will only ask the questions that the instrument has, or answer the questions that the instrument has the energy left to give. But I really would like to know that the orientation of the fifth density negative for not participating in this battle. I am raw. The fifth density is the density of light or wisdom. The so-called negative service to self-entity in this density is at an high level of awareness and wisdom and has ceased activity except by thought. The fifth density negative extraordinarily compacted and separated from all else. Question. I see. Then if you are able to read the violet ray of an entity, to see that ray, is it possible then to immediately determine whether the entity could use crystals to tap the intelligent energy? I am raw. It is possible for one of the fifth density or about to do this. Question. Just as a slight appendage to that question, what would the rays of the fifth and sixth density look like? I am raw. We may speak only approximately, however, we hope you understand. Shall we say that there is a distinctive difference in the color structure of each density? Fifth density is perhaps best described as extremely white in vibration. The sixth density of a whiteness which contains a golden quality, as you would like to perceive it, these colors having to do with the blending into the wisdom of the compassion learned in the fourth density. Then in the sixth density, the blending of the wisdom back into the unified understanding of compassion viewed with the wisdom. This golden color is not of your spectrum but is what you would call alive. You may ask one more question. I am guessing that it is not necessary to ingest food in fifth density. Is that correct? I am raw. This is incorrect. However, the vehicle needs food which may be prepared by thought. Questioner. What type of food would this be? Raw. I am raw. You would call this type of food as nectar or ambrosia or a light broth of gold white hue. Question. What is the purpose of ingesting food in the fifth density? I am raw. This is somewhat central point. The purpose of space-time is the increase in catalytic action appropriate to the density. One of the preconditions for the space-time existence is some form of the body complex, such as the body complex must be fueled in some way. So food will be used as a fuel till the fifth density, I guess. Questioner. Then there is in third density, the fueling of our body complex is not only simply fuels the complex but gives us the opportunities to learn services. In fourth density, it is not only fuel the complex but gives us the opportunities to learn patience. In fifth density, it fuels the complex but does it teach? I'm wrong. In fifth density, it is comfort for those of like mind gathered together to share in this broth, thus becoming one in the light and wisdom while joining hearts and hands in the physical activity. Thus, in this density, it becomes a solace rather than a catalyst for learning. Questioner. Then I am assuming in the positively oriented social memory complex that at a much higher percentage of them use the personality discipline for this travel. Is this correct? I am raw. This is correct. As positive fifth density moves into the sixth density, there are virtually no entities which any longer use our outer technology for travel or communication. Question. Is there any difference then at say close to the end of the fifth density in the disciplines of personality required for this travel between the positive and negative orientation. Higher fifth density. I am Ra. There are patent differences between the polarities, but no differences whatsoever in the completion of the knowledge of the self necessary to accomplish this discipline. Questioner. Do some of them look just like us? Could they pass for the earth people? I am Ra. Those of this nature are most often fifth density. Question. I assume that the same answer would apply to the Orion groups. Is that correct? As far as fourth and fifth density goes, I am wrong. This is correct. This would questioner. This would probably be the possible in the higher densities, such as the fifth density. Is this correct? I am wrong. The fifth density harvest polarization has very little to do with the harvestability. Questioner. Then you are saying, as a result of polarization in the consciousness that has occurred later in the galactic evolution, that the experiences are much more, shall I say, profound or deeper along the two paths. Are these experiences independent of the other parts, or must there be action across the potentiated difference between the positive and negative polarity? Or is it possible to have this experience simply because of the single polarity? This is difficult to ask. I am Ra. We would agree. We shall attempt to pluck the gist of your query from surrounding the verbiage. The fourth and fifth densities are quite independent. The positive polarity functioning with no need of the negative and vice versa. It is to be noted that in attempting to show a third density mind-body spirit complexes in choosing polarity, there evolves a good bit of interaction between the two polarities. In the sixth density, the density of unity, the positive and negative path must needs take in each other, for all now must be seen as a love light and light love. This is not difficult for the positive polarity, which sends love and light to all other selves. It is difficult enough for the service to self-polarized entities that at the same point the negative polarity is abandoned. Questioner. Well, if the population of this planet presently looks similar to the fifth density entities, I was wondering why this is. If I understand you correctly, the process of evolution would normally be the third density resembling that from which it evolved in the second density, and then refining to the fourth density, then again in the fifth density, becoming what the population of this planet looks like in the third. Why is this planet? It seems to me that this planet is ahead of itself in the way the mind-body spirit complexes or the body complex of that looks. What is the reason for this? I am Ra. Your query is based upon the misconception. Do you wish us to comment, or do you wish to re-question? Please comment on the misconception if that is possible. I am Ra. In the fifth density, the manifestation of the physical complex is more and more under control of the conscious mind complex. Therefore, the fifth density entity may dissolve one manifestation and create another. Consequently, the choice of the fifth density entity or the complex of the entities wishing to communicate with your people would choose to resemble your people. Physical complex, chemical, yellow ray vehicle. Okay friends, that was it for today. For the fifth density, we have completed the conversations between the Ra and Professor Don Alkan. This is pretty much like they have discussed like what kind of food they could have, what kind of energies, what they are doing, what is the purpose, how the harvestability is done and everything. So thank you for watching Reflective Minds. Hope to see you in the next session, 6th, 7th and 8th densities. Thank you. Bye-bye.